So hi everyone and welcome to another franchisor chat. We've got a special guest, which is Brett Blair, who is the divisional franchisor for the gym's pool care division. And they also feature on the gym's Monopoly board as well. Do you know what services you have on the board? Do
you remember? You know you've made it if you're on Jim's Monopoly, mate. Thanks for having me, Joel.
And no worries. So what I thought we'd do today is introduce obviously Brett to the gym's family, to anyone who's thinking about franchising or purchasing a franchise in general. Brett will have some great advice about that and tell his story as well. And we'll also touch on the franchise offering yourself, some advice for franchisors in the group as well, some general business advice, and then obviously some questions to get to know Brett better. So let's start off first with Brett, about your story with gyms. I know it's a long one, but if you can try and do a quick summary for people who are meeting you for the first time to let them know.
No worries, mate. I do talk too much once I get going. So my story, in a nutshell, was IT project manager, moved to Queensland when I was about 35, about to start a family. We knew we were going to have a couple of kids, didn't want to work the 60-hour weeks in the city. And I know a lot of people are going through that right now. Do I want to be working and commuting in the city? And, you know, we're getting lots of interesting franchise inquiries about people wanting to change their career and their life, because families become a little bit more important. So that's what happened to me 15 years ago. Long story short, I went to a franchise expo, found out about Jim's Pool Care. Thought it was a great opportunity because it was labour and retail. I just didn't want to be swapping time for money. I needed to be able to throw something else in that mix, because I'd read a lot of books my whole life, which is one thing I'd encourage people to do, is read lots of books about sales and entrepreneurship and that. And then brought a franchise, got that going with a master franchise, started selling franchises, loved the system so much. I brought the whole division and worked with Jim on that, and that went through. I brought it off an entrepreneurial couple who had started it up. It was around 28 franchises back then. We're now up to 112 franchises. So that's a little over 10 years or so. I've done that. But I guess the goal in taking on that division was about improving it. I'm always constantly trying to improve what we're doing here at Jim's Pool Care. So whether it's marketing, the way we look, the way we handle sales, better deals for the franchisees. I'm always crunching deals with suppliers and trying to get a better lick for the franchisees. Lots of training. We're training more than ever nowadays. So I thought what's happened recently might slow down our training, but we've had some great online webinars going on nationally and massive attendance. Like, we're getting 50 franchisees to online training webinars, learning more about pumps, filters, chlorinators, chemicals. But yeah, so my story was I went from zero to hero in the space of about 3 years. So it went pretty quickly, but I was motivated. I was always a motivated young guy who wanted, I figure if I'm going to go to work each day, why not go as hard as you can? So.
And you said something that I found really interesting, and probably goes into your franchise offering, was the time for money. You want to be more than that. I know in Pool Care you have multiple revenue streams or income streams that potentially someone can make. So maybe you want to touch on that.
Yeah, so I guess the beauty of Pool Care is a couple of things. You're showing up, you're getting paid to show up for the service call. We then test and balance a pool, so it needs chemicals. We get great margin on bulk chemicals because we don't necessarily need the pretty retail packs, so we buy bulk chemicals for our franchisees. We then sell all the accessories, so, you know, pool poles, scoops, whatever, baskets, and then we sell the more lucrative items around pool equipment, so pumps, filters, chlorinators, pool heating. Great margins on a lot of that equipment. So now, you know, on my half hour an hour service, I'm not just making the $70 or $80 call out. I've made money on the chemicals. I might have fixed some equipment. I might have sold some new equipment, and that's just all in one service call. So the opportunity is there. Now, that's not every job, Joel, but the goal there over time is to build good, regular, repeat customers. So that could be regular as in I go every 2, 3, 4 weeks, or it could be regular as in I provided a great service. So you're a bit of a casual customer, but you get me out as required.
And the goal there is
customer service. If the guys show up and provide great customer service on that first visit, leave a good taste in the customer's mouth, and they're impressed with their level of knowledge and the way they spoke to them and the way they helped them, which is what I tell the guys. Think of the long game, just help customers. Then even if they don't want you to come out every fortnight or every month, they're probably going to call you next time there's a problem.
And what's included in your initial franchise offering? So you might have a guy or a woman looking online and and go, they see a price for a franchise. Can you explain to people the price of, or the generic range of the price of the franchise, but also what they get for that purchase price?
Yeah, so our current package is $69,000. We're doing a review on that in the coming months, so I'm not sure if it's going to go up, but it'll be around $69,000. 25,000 of that we spend back on the incoming franchisee. So years ago, it used to be 44,000 plus, and it was a little bit confusing for people coming in and for banks and for having to get finance. So we just packaged it up into what we call a business in a box. So for 69 grand, you just come on board. You've got to get a vehicle, but you come on board. We spend 25,000 on you. That includes all your startup stock, chemicals, uniforms, your accounting setup, training in Melbourne, training on the road up here. Everything that you can think of, we cover off for you. So we've tried to make it really easy. We've got an A to Z checklist we tick off over the first month or so. And really, you've just got to work your way through that, follow the bouncing ball. And normally within about 4 to 6 weeks, you're on the road and invoicing customers. So we can take a bit longer if you're transitioning from work. Sometimes guys or ladies come on and they transition. So they might want to wind down a job and start up the pool care business slowly. But for people that jump straight on board, they're into it in normally 4 to 6 weeks.
And what's the actual training like? Because obviously you have a lot of people who might be looking around now, especially this time with a career change. They sort of might not be as confident. Go, I don't have much knowledge about pools, but
yeah,
I like the sound of it. So what's the actual training, or what confidence in the system can you give people who may be thinking of doing something completely different to what they're doing now?
Funnily enough, the majority of our franchisees have never been in the pool industry. So we've had a handful that have had businesses and said, I want to be part of gyms, and they've gone on to build even more successful pool businesses. But the majority of people coming in, engineers, bank managers, tradies, builders. We've had builders come on board, all sorts of people, retail people, know nothing about pools. And most of our franchisees haven't even owned a pool. So what I want to give people who are coming on board is peace of mind that we will teach you what you need to know. So I guess it is something people need to think about is, how am I going to go with learning all this? We will make sure you learn what you need to know and to get you out and on the road and making money. But we also provide ongoing training. So there's 3 days initially in Melbourne with gyms, depending what's going on. That can be done in Melbourne or remotely. 10 days on the road training, which is a job logbook. So they go out with an experienced franchisee / trainer, and they tick off every aspect of our business over those 10 days. They then have what's called a 30 to 60 day follow-up logbook, which is any task they didn't cover off in those initial 10 days. Sorry, mate. Well, it looks like my wife's tracked me down. Anything they haven't covered off, we'll make sure we follow that up. We then provide them additional training with some sales training. We introduce them to all our local suppliers who will do some one-on-one training. Franchisors then ongoing after that have to have 6 to 8 meetings a year. In pool care, many years ago, we made sure that if we're going to have meetings, we make them valuable. So we normally get an industry expert in, or something about invoicing or sales or product training where we pull something apart and learn more about it. So we do 6 to 8 of those a year, and then we have coffee catch-ups. So franchisors and franchisees, several times a year, we'll catch up with franchisees. We encourage franchisees to catch up with each other. So from the time you start, for your first 12 months, you've got plenty of support, plenty of support. So we just want people to be passionate about what they're getting into. So you're either passionate about business and you want to grow a labour and retail business and that excites you, or you're passionate about being outside by a pool. Like a lot of our guys have been indoors their entire life. Like guys in their 50s are joining up, 40s and 50s, are joining up because they've been stuck in an office their whole life, and they go out for the first trial day, which I encourage everyone to do. We don't let someone start up with us unless they've done a day on the road and checked it out. Is they go out on the road and they come back and they have a chat with me and they just can't believe it, depending on the weather on that day. But, they're outside, fresh air, they're visiting amazing homes with pools. There's definitely some interesting pools when you're out there as well, especially those nasty green ones. But when they're green, we make lots of money, Joel. But, yeah, so I think And Jim often talks about it, like, and when you've interviewed Jim, I've noticed you ask him, what are the reasons people should be getting into business? And Jim often talks about find something you're passionate about. And I guess that's the beauty of gyms. If you're not into pools, you come out for a day on the road with us and it's not quite you, we've got another 40 divisions you can explore. So that's something we're starting to get a little bit better at is handing prospective franchisees off to other divisions when they're not necessarily suitable for our division. So that could be they're not interested, or it could be a price point or finance issue or something like that. So the main thing is when you're inquiring with gyms is just asking lots of questions, whether it's pool care or any other division, just get out on the road and see the business firsthand.
Now, a question we always get online is everyone always wants to know how much you guarantee a week, because in franchising it's quite common to have an income guarantee where people see a cash amount per week minimum. So maybe you want to talk about some of the bigger businesses you have within the division, what people have been able to build, and maybe talk about the pay for work or the income guarantee, the weekly sort of thing, that sort of give people peace of mind if they're transitioning from an employment to working in their own business.
Yeah, well, that pay for work guarantee is important. We very rarely pay it because there's a couple of conditions that go with it. So one is that you're going to do a set of tasks that will help you build your business. And two is the guys are meeting the minimum income requirement, which is $1,500 a week. So we put that guarantee out there as a genuine guarantee. If you do everything that's required of you, and if you don't make $1,500 a week on average per month, we'll gladly top you up because, you've invested in us, you've backed yourself, you're following the system, then we'll gladly top you up. The only thing with pool care is we don't pay that for the 3 or so months during the middle of winter. Not that our guys don't work all year round, but we can't generate that volume of leads for a new guy in the middle of winter. With that being said, we start up guys all the time during winter because they might be transitioning into the business or they're happy to just cruise into the business. But from, about now onwards, which is sort of August, September, we start to get busy right across Australia, and that'll go right through till sort of April, May next year. Once you've been going for a couple of years, you'll have, 70, 80, 90, 100 regulars, and you'll be busy, right through winter. It'll be a little bit quieter. So you'll have some time at the end of the day. You'll be able to take a few days off or take a couple of weeks off if you want to, juggle your jobs around. But when it's spring and summer, it's making hay. So I say to guys, act like a farmer and just go for it. There's so much money to be made in our industry with, the servicing, green pools, pool equipment. Build your business in spring and summer. That's going to be at a level that you're satisfied to get you through the next winter.
And it's even though we mentioned there is an income guarantee, but as you said, it's hardly ever paid, is it, by regional franchisors? It's never really hardly ever paid because the work's there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So we do in pool care, I don't know what other divisions do with this regard, but we find where the pools are and we do what's called an introductory mail out. So we will do a mail out for you. Hey, we're introducing Joel. He's your new pool guy in the area. Here's a whole heap of call to action offers. There's a magnet and a business card. So we do that initial introduction for the new franchisee to the pool owners in their territory. The new franchise owner can take work anywhere because gyms is a beautiful system. So you'll get all the leads in your territory. But if you're hungry, you travel, 5, 10, 15 Ks in any direction. And why wouldn't you when you can make, good money per job? And then over time, as you build a great business, we want you to bring it back closer to home or where your territory is. So instead of doing, 4 or 5 jobs a day, you might be doing 8 jobs a day and home by 2 or 3 o'clock.
And saying that though, you've got some large businesses now that I want to touch on in your division. There's a lot of franchisees who have built multiple vans on the road, and maybe you want to talk about that. It's not just the one-man van. If you want to be there, that's great. No problem, you're earning great money, but you do have the ability to grow an extensive business.
Yeah. So we work closely with the franchisees each year. We offer them business reviews if they want to take us up on that. And a lot of that business review is around how'd you go last year? What are you planning for this year? And what are your goals? So if your goals are, I'm maxing out with my time, but I want to make more money, you start to explore, do you need an offsider in the van with you? Do you need a second van with a skilled technician who supports your business? How do we grow it? So guys come and go with that sometimes. So there's guys with really great businesses. So we talked about income. We can't guarantee anyone's income, Joel, but we know if you follow the system, you'll make good money. But, a good goal for a new franchisee would be somewhere between 100 and 150 grand in the first 12 months depending.
Great money, which is great money for anyone.
Yeah, that's gross turnover. It's not in your pocket, but it's gross turnover, and it is good money. And it depends on what city you're in and what we're charging. But over a couple of years, we've got plenty of guys heading up towards 200,000 turnover. We've got individuals doing, $220,000 to $250,000 turnover. And this is not pie in the sky stuff. This is real stuff. And then once you turn over more than 250,000, you've got probably more than 120 regulars. You've got to start thinking about staff. So in transitioning to a staff-driven business where you might have a couple of vans and a few staff, you might go sideways or backwards initially, but then you start to create leverage. So you'll free up your time a little bit. You'll be able to duplicate yourself. You might become more responsible for winning the new customers and quoting jobs in a timely manner because you're so busy before. You mightn't have been doing things in a timely, efficient manner. And then you can take time off. So a guy up the Sunshine Coast, Stephen, he's a franchisor as well as a franchisee. He's built a business with 2 or 3 vans on the road. And he just decided 3 weeks ago that before the season takes off, he was going to take 3 weeks off and go up to the Cape. So he just started posting some photos. He's on his way back down. He called me yesterday, had a great chat. And he said, I was only able to do that because I had 2 staff who ran everything for the 3 weeks I've been away. So that's leverage. Now, if you don't build a massive business, but you're busy and you're making good money, you can still have a week or 2 off because you can bring the customers forward, push a few back. You get a couple of franchisees to help you out with your weekly clients. At the end of the day, Joel, it's your business. That's what I love about gyms. It doesn't matter what division, it's your business. As a franchisor, I'm not making anyone work any harder or any less than what they want to do. So,
And for yourself, I know you're big into personal development, reading a lot of stuff and taking advice from all channels. I know a lot of franchisors and gyms can tend to sort of stay insular and within the gym system, or within the gym's people in the system. What do you do outside of gyms to improve your business or to improve yourself, or motivation or ideas? What do you do? What do you look for?
Yeah, so I every few years or so I get a business coach. So I've got a great business coach at the moment, Tony Meredith Coaching. He's been great for me for the last 18 months. Coaches keep you focused and they make you accountable, which is the problem with all of us in business and even as employees. If you're not made accountable, if I said I was going to do something by next week and I don't do it and no one cares. But if that was an important thing I needed to do to grow my business and the business coach says, so Brett, you said you were going to do that. And I say, I didn't do it. I'm now accountable. So when I know he's going to call me, I might quickly do it before he calls me because I want to make sure I've done it. Business coaches aren't for everyone, don't get me wrong. And they do cost a little bit of money, but I believe they're worth the investment. Books. I believe in reading books. I'm not much of a digital reader unless it's snippets. So I like reading little blogs and articles. So I subscribe to different things. YouTube, there's so much good content. You need to find the motivator that works for you. So you'll get a bit of a theme from time to time of people who produce lots of good content. I go to seminars, I do webinars. So, when you're the franchisor or divisional, even as a franchisee, you just got to step out of your comfort zone and surround yourself with other business people. They don't have to be gyms people. So a couple of times a year, I'll go to big business entrepreneurial seminars and I get great energy out of that stuff. And you always go away with a couple of ideas. Some of them are free. There's plenty of free webinars, seminars, because they're going to try and get you into the $100 course or into the $500 course, into the $10,000 course. You might go through a few of those steps and keep getting more and more content till you're happy, or you might go all the way to the end and do the full course, whatever works for you. But if you're not so we're in business. If you're not immersing yourself in business thinking, you're really just working alone and winging it, because the business world is moving so quickly at the moment. You need to be immersing yourself with what's going on out there. You need to be able to talk the talk, whether it's, social media, trends around technology, invoicing, bookkeeping, accounting, all that stuff. It's moving so quickly.
Well, you've got to have a learning mindset, don't you? You obviously have a learning mindset. I know from our chats before, you're always, as you said, you invest in yourself, which I think is an important thing, which a lot of people don't think they do. They'll spend money on, let's say, something, external or whatever it is, but rather than, getting a coach or something sometimes, even though it's a big investment sometimes, it can really be worth it to give it a go.
Yeah. And it is money, mate. Like, if I don't feel I've got $1,000 and there's a course coming up, I'm probably not going to do that course. But what if I did that course that gave me an idea that helped me sell 2 franchises? Man, that's a lot of money. So that's a lot of money. But now you've got to pick which course you do or which seminar you go to. But don't be scared to invest in yourself. And sometimes you've got to back yourself, because quite often the wife says, you spent how much on a course? You're going for how many days? So I don't do the 3-day seminars anymore, or 2 days. So I try and do anything that's a half day or a day, or online webinars nowadays, because I've got 3 young girls who chew up a lot of time on weekends, and a lot of time those courses are on weekends. But there's so much content for free, Joel. You know it. Like, there's just so much good stuff out there. Just have a look.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think I'd love to hear if other franchisors watch this, what they actually look at. There might be some other franchisors who have coaches in their business, or they have some sort of online things they do. And I think it's really important to keep learning. The learning mindset, I know Jim always goes on about it, but he listens to an audio book a day or whatever every second day, and just always learning.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So,
for such a busy man, and he's still consuming all that content. That's amazing.
And I think also that what you've got a good mindset towards change as well. I know, especially now, a lot of people don't like change and it's uncomfortable and stuff, but like, you know, you might feel out of your depth fit for something, but why not invest some time in learning something new? Or if not, you know, outsource it and pay for it, depending on whatever it is.
Mate, I don't know what the data is or the stats, but the rate of change is going vertical, mate. Like, and I don't want to change, so I don't implement changes for our group for the sake of change. I'll only roll out things if it's either faster, more efficient, or they make more money, or they save money, right? So they're my sort of criteria before I implement technology or change suppliers or do something like that. But if I'm not immersing myself in that, how would I know there was an opportunity to do something better and faster? So
how much time a week do you reckon you would spend on yourself in terms of learning or educating yourself on some new things? Or
it's become a bit blurred in the last few years with social media, because I can find myself vegged out on the couch just chewing up too much time, because there's so many good grabs of information. But I'd believe probably 2 to 3 hours a week. So if I added up all the grabs and, you know, trying to stay awake at night and read a book for half an hour, and then all the little snippets and grabs. But, you know, during the day, you can have a couple of 2 or 3 minute grabs. You go, that was a motivator. That was excellent. If I'm feeling flat, I listen to stuff on the way to work. I've got a couple of podcasts and that I follow.
And what ones do you listen to?
So I'll bring up a couple quickly now. And these are free ones. So they're quite good. There's a guy that's been around for years. It's the small big business. Timbo Reid, have you heard of him? Never
heard of him. No, I have to look him up.
Mate, he's got a monstrous backlist of content around marketing. So he's all about marketing. He's great. If you want to step out of your comfort zone and stretch your brain, I've been listening to billionaires getting interviewed. So that's billionaires getting interviewed.
Yeah.
Because I just find it fascinating how big people think. There's a really good guy, younger bloke called Lewis Mocker. I don't know if you've come across him at all.
No.
He's a good one. Jack Delosa podcast.
Yeah, I know Jack Delosa. Yeah.
He's definitely he's gearing you up to one of his programs. He's got some good coaching programs.
I know the program, the Entourage, whatever it's called.
That's it. But he gives away so much good content. So Jack Delosa, you can follow him. And depending how I'm feeling, there's another guy called Dale Beaumont, which is Business Blueprint. Subscribe to him, and it's a never-ending trail of emails and podcasts and whatever, all free, because he wants to gear you up to his coaching program that I've never done. So I've been following him now for about 8 years and only paid for a couple of little seminars and webinars, and I've just got so much out of him. But you need to start somewhere. So I just, have a look around at a couple of those ones that I've suggested and just start listening to them. But I was saying I listen to them on the way to work, because how you start your day is important. So you've got to have a good routine. And sometimes I'll just be driving in and I like listening to music and I think, geez, I'm a bit flat. So I'll just grab any one of those, and 5 minutes later, for some reason, I'm fired up again. So
I think it's important for franchisors as well. Like, it's going to be like a wave. I remember, I think it was you saying that. You said the wave, didn't you? Ride the wave of business. And when you're at that flat spot, what do you do to get yourself out of it? Do you sink further, or do you take some action or proactive action in your business, or just for yourself personally to do something for yourself, maybe to get yourself out of that and back on track?
Unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's up to all of us. It's up to you. You know, some of the AFL guys watching might know Tommy Hafey, amazing footballer from many years ago, tough as nails, player and coach. And we got him to a Jim's Pool Care conference in Melbourne before, unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. And when he finished his keynote, he said, "If it is to be, it is up to me." So there's those 10 words. And he said, if you live your life like that and take responsibility, then you've got no option but to be successful and own your journey. So
I think that's a great point. You know, the victim mindset, especially now, is really easy to fall back into, and you know, you can't blame some people for doing that. But as you just said, it's a great quote from Tommy Hafey. But just in general, just having a proactive mindset and being responsible for yourself. Don't worry about whatever else is doing. You know, worry about yourself and what you do about your situation. So, you know, that might not be things in your business even. That could be things for yourself personally. You know, you might take up something, you might learn an instrument, you might do a bit more exercise, you might want a bit of health, and that's going to help you feel better for the day and be a bit more energized.
Yeah, I agree. So you're probably onto something there. So just quickly, I realise we're running out of time. Is you've got to have a side interest as well. You can immerse yourself in business and just let it totally absorb you. But, you know, some of the best business operators I know who are making great money still go to the gym a couple of times a week, take their wife out for dinner a couple of times a week, pick up the kids from school. You've got to have some other interests. But I like what you said, and I think that's more relevant in the last 4 or 5 months. I've never seen so many people buying guitars. My daughter, who's got a guitar, the local guitar shop's out of guitars. Hey! Yeah, you know, you play Stairway to Heaven yet, mate?
Oh, just barely. Yeah, barely.
No Stairway. But the local bike shop. So I've been into mountain bike riding on this recent fad, and he was literally out of mountain bike. So he said it's just embarrassing. You know, normally has 50 or 100 bikes. He's got no bikes in there. But what I was excited about is people are now starting to say, well, I've got a bit of extra time, or I'm at home a bit more. I've always wanted to do X or Y, and then now they're doing it. So there's a lady up the road who works with a global corporate, I think it's PwC, because she's always commuting into the city and going to all these meetings. Now she's working from home. She's walking the dogs every day. And she said she's operating at such a higher level now for her work, because she just looks forward to getting up. She grabs the dogs, goes for a walk for half hour, comes back, has breakfast. She said she's so much more productive. She just loves it. She said she doesn't know whether it's a mindset change or what it is. She just feels great. She just loves working. So
I think it's a great time for people, especially in Big Metro or just in general, just to reset and do some more things for themselves, I reckon, or reconnect with their kids or family, or get to know them a bit better, or be a bit selfish almost.
We could all become better cooks, Joel, surely.
Absolutely. I've heard that a few people. I've heard a few franchisors they're going to take up cooking and stuff like that. So
Friday night, Joel, what are you cooking tonight, mate?
I've got the missus coming over, so just asked to bring a bottle of wine, so maybe just a bottle of wine, mate.
Bottle of wine, some cheese and crackers, maybe a baguette, go all French.
We'll see, mate. We'll see. We're not that fancy. We'll see where we go. But what I'll do is, so anyone who's interested in learning more about the Pool Care franchise, Brett, or yourself, what can they do to contact you or find out more?
So if you'd like to learn more about a Jim's Pool Care franchise, then definitely reach out. So you can call the 131 546 number, and the call center will put you in touch with your local regional franchisor, who'd be glad to send you an information pack, shoot you a couple of emails, and catch up for a coffee. We've also, on our website, there's a contact form. So digitally, you can reach out to us. We've got a franchise-specific website, which is Jim's Pool Care Franchise, which has got a contact form on it as well. And all those local franchisors will look after you. I'm also happy to speak to anyone inquiring about a franchise. I'd like you to contact your local franchisor first, but always make myself available to have a chat if you want to speak with me directly. So you can just speak with the franchisor or the call center, and they'll pass you my details or connect you to me. And I wish anyone getting on board with a Jim's franchise, whether it's ours or another one, all the best on the journey. And if it's not for you and you're getting into something else, again, wish you all the best. You know, we want people who are 100% on board, and if you are, we'll look after you.